So thanks, Alessia, for the great introduction, and also thank you, the whole DLD, to make this happen. I think it's a pleasure for me to be here today with such great guests and also with such a great audience. I mean, the party was long and hard yesterday, so you all make it, and you are the ones who want to really drive things forward. So coming back to our topic, I mean, we all sitting here, probably also from the audience, everyone is driving really in his way to fight the climate crisis. And I think that unites us here sitting. We are all on the purpose. One, you have it, also the 1.5 in your company name. So Sophia, that's your company name is the program, so to say. And we want to exit fossil. I mean, that combines us. And yesterday we heard also a lot of discussions that there's a strong need for green energy, being it for the German industry, being it for Europe. And we really need to shift here gears. And I'm very happy to discuss that today with you. Starting, I've brought some data points which I think are showing a little bit the opportunities and the challenges. Can I have the first slide, please? This slide represents a little bit in Germany the current status, where we stand and where the potential is. And basically what you see on the left side, the private solar systems that are installed. We are right now at 2.3 million approximately, and the potential is here really huge. You have in Germany around 15 million residential homes, 12 million are potentially useful for solar energy. And if we are in the next years driving that, we could generate through private residential solar systems up to 20% of our energy consumptions, which is about 90 terawatt hours. And this is really remarkable because it shows what can happen here. And also in the combination with electric cars and heat pumps, which are also in the residential area. So bringing consumption of energy and production really together. On the right side, you see the heat pump topic. I mean, probably some of you have heard the German challenges in the last years, and this year we are also starting in that. So here also the potential is huge. Right now we have only 1.3 million heat pumps installed in Germany, and the potential is up to 16 million, because we heat right now with gas, we heat with oil, we heat with wood, and I think here a saving potential of 70% of the primary energy is really remarkable. So that's the opportunity. Now we come to you and the challenges. Next slide, please. We have put some data together to show you how German consumers react really on the energy topic. And the red line is the wholesale price, electricity price in Germany. You see the big spike caused by the Russian invasion in Ukraine, driving really the price, wholesale price of electricity up to enormous height. And the yellow line is the solar leads we get on efahrer.com, the site where we are driving the solar and energy movements. So this is an indexed picture showing really that with high prices, energy prices, consumers are rushing, and we have all seen that, and your people have seen that, to that direction. In contrast, the e-cars, that's a black line below, this is really stable, so consumers don't react so much on energy prices. So in a nutshell, it shows that prices matters. And the topic is today how you are working on that. So my first question would be to Sarah and Sophie is, what's your plan to bring prices in solar really down to become cost effective? Also for the audience, you need depending on your calculation, 12 years plus payback period if you invest in that solar. And the question is, how do you get that down to 5 to 8 years? I mean, we can't expect probably in the next years so much from our German state. They are more in the self-reflection mode. So it's now up to you guys. Companies need to make the change.
Yeah, happy to start. I think let's maybe first look at the, I think, very positive message you also shared on your slide, right? I mean, we talk about what is not working in the energy transition, but I think if you look into last year's data, and I mean, we know that was driven by exactly the high prices on electricity that you have shown. The goal of the government was to install 9 gigawatt. We actually installed 14 in Germany, and 51% coming from the consumer sector. So really coming from the residential sector. So what we see is consumers want to go green and they want this energy transition. But I think exactly to your point, it needs to be affordable and it needs to be very, very easy to do it. And I think that's on us to make exactly that happen and make this transition come true. And for bringing prices down, I see 3 core levers. I think is one, exactly what you showed on your first slide, which is the convergence of all these technologies. So I looked in our database, I looked into all the systems we at Solar sold in the last year. And for the average system we sold, which is around 10 kilowatt hours, and if you look into a usual German 4-people household, amortization was 10 years, so exactly what you said. But if you look into the households that actually have a heat pump and an electric vehicle, amortization is already happening in 7 years. So I think we are exactly at your target, and I think it's right, don't look at all these technologies in isolation, but look into the electricity transition as really the actualification of the home. And then if you look at it in total, the ROI looks much better. So I think that's one. The second one is energy management. So I think we all might have or are developing quite smart, data-driven, intelligent or systems to manage the electricity in a better way. And that will also drive the ROI for the consumers up. And the third one is white solar is very comparable to computer chips. So if you looked what happened in the last year, the prices for modules have dropped by 50%. So we've seen a significant price drop. At the same time, in the last 5 years, the efficiency of the panels has gone up by 30%. So we see decreasing prices, but more efficiency. And I think all these together will make solar even more efficient and profitable than it is today.
Absolutely, 100%. I can totally build on that. So first of all, yes, we can underline it is the price at the end. Often, and you mentioned our mission, it feels a bit like my wish would be that people are more intrinsic motivated, but it is really the price. So this is what we learned. So I can build on that. Exactly what you said and what we also do, and this may be also special in our group, for example, with 1.5 degree, we build a group based on different branches in the local areas. And here we combine and bundle the force for, or the synergy for demand, for example, when it comes to how many numbers of heat pumps, for example, or solar panels we order. So we can create synergies also due a bigger mass of people or of companies ordering. So this is another maybe topic in the process, right? Digitization, you mentioned that. So in all processes, especially with the branches, with the local branches, we integrated digitization. And with that, you can also bring down labor costs, for example, or costs overall. Again, this is better for the end user, right? And last but not least, and this is exactly the beauty, you mentioned that, it's based on AI. And I mean, AI was a big topic here. With AI, we can create a new steering of your entire or holistic energy system. And this may be one big wish which I have for the entire communication in Germany, not just focus on single elements like here's a solar panel, here's a heat pump, here's the electric vehicle. It is at the end a holistic system, and we need to steer the holistic system, learn how to make it very intelligent, and then we can really say, and this is not just a cheesy punchline, clean energy is always the cheapest, and this is what we can already see. So if you have a PV panel on your roof, you have solar power, so to say, for 5 cents per kilowatt hour. This is super cheap. And if you have then an intelligent energy management system and you buy wind power, for example, in the right moments on the market, you can decrease the price even more. So at the end, it is more an overall mixed calculation and not just to focus on, as we said, right, just the solar panel and so on. And then you can really see it's not even 10 years. It's really, you need to do that change. If you do it not, this is not an option because you mentioned already oil and gas. This will increase in the price, day by day, so to say.
Good, very good point. So it's technology, AI, you work in the field and really moving to home energy management systems. So now moving to heat pumps, that's the second opportunity. Here we have a similar situation. I mean, depending on your home, you have to invest, I think there are different numbers out there, 40, 60K euro for basic systems. So maybe also, Bastian, from your background now specifically on heat pumps, is there opportunity to get that really down? Because I mean, 15, 20K, so in a round range where it's brought affordable and consumers really buy it, not as you mentioned, out of a motive or motivation for climate change, but really commercially or economically.
Yes, the answer is yes. First of all, we haven't yet sold a system for 40 to 60K. We're way below that. We're usually at the moment below 30,000 here in Germany. But that is still too expensive. The interesting thing about heat pumps are that they are in fact magical. I don't know, it's quite early this morning, but who here really knows how a heat pump works? Like, who is comfortable that they really understand a heat pump? Can you raise your hand? Okay, DLD, definitely. Experts in the market here. The interesting thing about the heat pump is that if you take 1 unit of electricity, you can generate up to 3 units of heat. Generally, burning stuff like gas, oil, or wood, you, if even, only will get a 1-to-1 ratio. So 1 unit of burning a thing to 1 unit of heat. So right there with the heat pump, we have a multiple of 3 out of the box. Which, depending on the situation, could be even higher. So in itself, it is a far more efficient technology straight away. Now, a fun fact to that is if you would power a heat pump by gas, it would still be more efficient to heat your home than just a gas boiler. So putting just that out there. So now, looking at the heat pump itself, it has only one problem at the moment, and that is price. The technology itself, to install it in customers' homes, is quite expensive. And we need to get that down. Our mission at Octopus Energy is exactly that. We need to make heat pumps affordable for every home, and we need to make it price competitive to other heating technology in the market. So we've done this with 3 ways. So we've invested roughly 10 million euros in a R&D center in Great Britain. We were looking at a lot of different factors. And one of the things is, and maybe this is besides, but it's if we can get the energy cost down to power the heat pump, which at the moment is also too expensive. In Germany and a lot of other countries, there's too high a taxation on energy costs in comparison to other energy costs. If we just bring that down, again, the heat pump is more efficient, more cost-effective to heat your home. Now, the other factors are that if you have a heat pump that is smarter, that knows the thermodynamics of your home, that knows how long it takes to heat your home, how long your home will retain heat, and also knows how the grid operates, how abundant energy is in a given point in time, that knows how cheap and green energy is. It can create a schedule for heating your home that again is more efficient. And we're pushing this 300% increase to heating to maybe 500%. Now, what we've done at Octopus with our R&D center is investing into the technology itself and bringing down that cost. We've produced our own heat pump, which is the Cozy 6, and we're launching this now in Great Britain and installing it in homes. In average in Great Britain, because of different factors, after subsidies, a heat pump will run you £15,000. We can now sell our Cozy for roughly £3,000 after subsidies. So the goal here needs to be to make a heat pump price comparative or competitive to a gas boiler. And then the economics of the heat pump was just, there's no question anymore if this is the technology of the future.
Cool. So I think that's a great news that prices will go down. Maybe Sophia, on your perspective, because you're also offering heat pumps and the combined effort.
I think we shared the perspectives, but what we can also add on that is, again, it's about education and also explanation in the field, right? Because yes, one dimension is the technology and the research and how we can improve also all the devices, but at the end, also explaining the user, or at the end the household, you can also use it for air conditioning, for example. So there are additional usage moments, so to say, of the heat pump, and also for storage. And now, and back to my first statement, you always need to observe your entire energy system as a holistic system. And if you steer it in a smart way and you use storage and that moment of intelligent heating, but also the cooling feature, then you can really save money at the end and can also act like, for example, what we can see in Sweden, where we have already the grid connection. If you support then, for example, providers in balancing the grid, you can get even more profit out of it. Yeah. So, and this is just one country right now, but we can learn a lot from the foreign countries, and this is what we need to learn in Germany. As I said, think it in a holistic way. Then it makes really sense, and there's no doubt that this is the future.
I did some research on the heat pumps because we had a heat pump roundtable. It's remarkable. Sweden has, I think, 65% of households have heat pumps. That's impressive. I mean, we are discussing in Germany right now if heat pumps are a danger to society, and others are doing that for 20, 40 years. So really good perspective. Thanks. You mentioned both that you have this electric tariffs, because I think that's electricity power, variable power. We are currently testing at EFAR also your products because we want to educate the consumers and help them. Maybe you can explain a little bit how it works and what consumers can really gain, because I think that's an easy entry product. You don't need to ask someone to get on your roof or have a plumber in the cellar or something like that. That's easy. You just have to sign it basically, or need a smart meter. Can you explain a little bit how it works and what consumers can right now, as of today, save and also invest in green?
Yes, this is quite easy. So today with our smart charging tariff, we call it Intelligent Octopus, customers can save up to 360 euros per year on their energy bill when they're charging their car with our tariff. The way it works is also very customer friendly, with the fact that they need to do little, if anything. All you need to do is come home with your car, plug it in, you define at what point you want the car to be charged, and we take care of everything behind that. Our technical system will create a charging schedule that is optimized to how much energy is available, how green it is, how cheap it is to get the best price out of it. And we sort of forward the savings to the customer in a very fixed set, so the customer knows exactly what they will be getting out of it. And that directly increases acceptance for customers. It's simple, and they know what they're getting out of. It's usually, if you talk flexibility in energy, but then people think flexibility in cost can mean I can save money, but maybe I'll lose money if the prices go up. That's what makes it hard for people to go into this. If you make it really simple, if you say, we have the technology, we have the know-how, how to do this, we'll take care of it, you'll get this saving for sure. It's a high acceptance rate and people love it.
Exactly, important point, especially the fear of if you have dynamic in your tariffs, right, there can be always a very high moment. This is, for example, also how we reacted with our tariff. Dynamic pulse, this is called, with 1,5 degree. We have a guarantee that you will never pay more than 15 cents per kilowatt hour. It depends on your Netzentgelte. So this is definitely something but here all providers have the issue right now with increasing prices. Yeah, but this is exactly what a bit different in our dynamic pulse or in our tariff is that, again, we have the focus on the entire energy system with heat pump, solar, storage, and heartbeat as energy management system. And what we do here is, of course, you have what I said earlier, a mixed calculation of your solar price and the own produced, so to say, power. And then the moment where you need, because for example, sun is not shining and you need to buy energy. This is often the moment where everyone is buying energy because everyone is coming home, is charging the car, for example. And this is exactly what Heartbeat, the energy manager, is now steering, that you, for example, wait that 6 p.m. is not the best time, but 4 o'clock in the night, for example. And this is when the intelligence is then active and is activating, for example, the wall box, and now you will charge, because right now we have negative energy prices on the stock market, on the energy stock market, and this is exactly what we do with shifting the, so to say, the need when people need energy in the moment or in the, so to say, window in the slot when it's really the best and the cheapest. And this is why, for example, Galileo said last year, we have now the Germans' cheapest energy tariff right now.
Excellent. So basically, it helps the consumers. It helps also the climate, because you use the wind turbines and the power we export for free or need to pay other countries. We are using that and giving it back, so to say, to the consumers, the benefits.
Exactly. And of course, at the end, it is again, a collaboration of everyone. You need extended grids, right? And also power here, more and more on offshore and so on. But it's also important that we focus more, and everyone is doing that, on residential for the decentralization of the sources, right? And the storage.
Yeah, I think it's good that you highlight this so much, because I often get asked also, why is e-Fahrer doing solar and heat pumps? So my colleagues are saying, hey, are you crazy? But I mean, you explained it right now. It's an emerging system. We need to think the electric car that needs charged. We need it as a battery saver. We need the solar for producing it, and ideally the heat pump, and all going together with an intelligent system which is steering basically your points.
Exactly, and this year, for example, will be also a big year for household devices, for the big generators in the household, but this is then another thing which we can add in the holistic energy system. Yeah.
So in that way, we're looking at a solution which is very much, I mean, we're all going towards the same direction, because that is where we need to be going. We have a solution that we call Zero Bills Home, where we have a holistic setup. We have the PV and the battery. It's exactly planned to specification of the home. We have a heat pump to heat the home, and our system that calibrates everything. And we can guarantee people that for 5 years, their energy bill will be €0. So because we take care of all of what you just said in the background, we manage that against the grid. We help the grid to balance, and customers don't need to worry about anything anymore. But the thing is, with these technologies, if you only have one of them, you're never getting the whole potential of the system. So you kind of need to go towards the entire system, but then you over-effectively get a return on that.
And I think what is super important, I mean, Markus, you also started, right? We started this round talking about price, that if you look at the debate, it's a lot of investment. And I think it's exactly what we heard also in the panel yesterday, what we need to make it clear to consumers that actually it's about savings. So I think if you have a solar system that is connected to a heat pump and an EV, you will save up to 60K in the long run, and the system runs for 20 to 30 years. And we always talk a lot about the initial investments, what does it take to get this system? And I think that's also what the consumers are super worried about. Oh, helping climate change will cost me money, but at the end of the day, it will be the right thing to do, but it will also save you money. And I think that's exactly the debate we need to have. And then I think that's something we are working on very much at Solar. You need to find ways to also make it affordable for the consumers. I mean, it's a high initial investment, so I think we can't expect every household to be able to pay the 50K for the heat pump, the 25K for the solar system right away. And I think that's where then very intelligent financing also comes in to make this affordable for the household.
Excellent. So putting all together, it sounds very rosy what's coming up. I mean, you are all more or less unicorns. You have strong teams. I know a lot of you guys in marketing and sales. I think you have fantastic teams on the ground. So how confident are you, and what are the things now? So if we sit here together in 6 years, do we have 6 million heat pumps and 6 million solar devices installed?
Even more.
More, okay. I take it, wow. So that's a positive news.
I mean, if we want to, right, if you only look in Germany, if we want to get to our 2030 energy targets, we need to have it. I think yesterday on the decarbonization panel, Michael Sterner, the professor from Regensburg, right, he said, what's the solution to the climate crisis? And then he had this funny quote. He said, it's wind and solar, stupid. And I think that's exactly the solution. And right, we talk a lot about it. I think we need to get it on the roofs and in the cellars and the homes. And I think that's where we need the mindset shift to not only talk about it, but to execute it, to also have, right, the craftsmen that do it, which I think is a much higher concern than creating subsidy programs for the consumers to incentivize them, because it pays off to go to green energy. And I think that's the debate we need to have.
Yeah, there's no other option. And this is exactly, I mean, one task we also have, both of us, to make it very easy as one-stop shop solution for the customer, right? This is, I guess, our task here, because also today we talked about heat pump, EV, and so on. So it is complex. Yes, it is. And this is our task to make it very easy, as you said, affordable and understandable for the people, also with apps and so on, right? That you have everything integrated. So there's one element where definitely we are good and getting better and better. And then also the entire communication, right? It has to be cool to be part of that energy transition. We have really an issue. In other countries, it's different. There it is already really a value to invest in nature and live in a natural rhythm of wind and sun. In Germany, it's more like fear. I feel a bit like maybe it's strange with my freedom, right? So we have a lot of fear and very negative press and also media, so to say.
We are positive. We are very positive.
This is really good, yeah, and neutral also, right? It's not just about hyping everything. So be really neutral, focus on education. I think that's important, and creating a kind of, yes, I want to be part of that. We often call it movement, right? So this would be great if we can really create a movement that people say, yes, I want to do that, I want to be part of that. Yes, we have to do something and some further steps, but I think it is manageable.
It's a big mindset shift, as you said. We need to get everyone to understand the benefits of the energy transition. And that's not just saving money, which we've discussed, but it's also creating jobs. I mean, this will be the biggest industry to come. It's not just the installation of hardware in people's home, but we need to change the grid. We need to change a lot of different things. We need to think entirely different as to how we've been operating this industry in the past, energy, and we need to have a lot of changes across the entire sector. So only changing it in customers' homes or having a smart meter here or an EV here will not be the solution. The solution needs to be that the entire industry takes a shift, and we need everyone on board, and we need everyone to understand that that's not a bad thing, but in fact it will be a good thing for each and every one of us and the environment and the planet.
And I think it's, I mean, you said we need to change the system and the industry, but I think the great thing is the consumer can be part of it, right? And you can become energy independent, so you can, I think, even get out of this reliance on the big energy utilities out there. And I think we talked about price, but what we in our research see, that is the second most important driver, that consumers want to become independent, they want to produce their own energy, and I think that are the topics we need to talk about a lot more than about the high initial investment.
Yeah, and maybe a final request, follow all of us, so the 3 companies. No, it's really important, not just kidding, because let's spread the word. I think that's super important. You have already a kind of interest in the topics, but we need every person outside, especially in Germany, so follow us, spread the word. And last but not least, because you said that it is the industry where you see a lot of dynamic and I guess also money flowing into it in the next years. So if you have children, motivate children to work in that industry. We need the best talent right now. And this is really a thing we see right now when it comes to society, that we gave a status to people who study and then maybe start a job in management positions or for, I don't know, the big 4 in some consulting jobs. But it's not that cool and sexy to work as, I don't know, installation guy or solateur or what else. So motivate your people to find job and maybe spend lifetime in those areas and jobs. I think, we need all talents.
Excellent summary, and thanks a lot for you. Time is running out, so we are very positive, and thanks for coming here. And thanks for audience waking up so early.
Thank you.